Okay, so good evening, directors. Now, we all know Lactalis is a fantastic company. It has a fantastic turnover. We're bigger than a lot of our competitors. However, we feel there is a definite need to have sustainable palm oil business practice in Lactalis. Palm oil is a really major component. Although we're sustainable on other things, it might be something we need to improve on. So I think really today we're going to take you through what we found we need to do to be more sustainable in our business practices with palm oil. So just look at what's to come really. We're going to introduce you guys to palm oil before we move on to Lactalis, so a bit of background, that kind of thing. And then we're going to focus on the concept of RSPO, not necessarily just for Lactalis, but across the spectrum. Then we'll compare to Dairy Crest, which is another of our competitors, and then we'll just suggest a lot of things we can do to make Lactalis improve based on our findings so far.
Okay, good afternoon, directors. Firstly, we are going to discuss what is palm oil. Due to demands of globalisation, the extraction of palm oil has increased greatly in recent years, making it the world's most popular vegetable oil. It is used in the manufacture of many products such as lipstick, margarine, crisps, biofuel, sweets, soaps and washing powders. Palm oil can only be grown in the tropics, with the top 5 producing nations being Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Nigeria and Colombia. Within Indonesia alone, crude palm oil production reached 19.2 million tonnes and generated $12.4 billion in foreign exchange from exports, making crude palm oil the most valuable non-oil gas export. Vast amounts of rainforest are cleared to make space for palm oil farms. This threatens biodiversity, puts endangered species such as the orangutan and tiger at further risk, and contributes to global climate change through deforestation and soil degradation. Environmental campaigners claim that in 15 years, 98% of the rainforest in Indonesia and Malaysia will cease to exist unless drastic action is taken to find ways of producing sustainable palm oil. So why is this important to us? Lactalis is the world's leading dairy group and Europe's #1 milk collector. We have a turnover of 15 billion euros distributed over cheese, milk, butters, creams and other businesses, focusing mainly on the European market. We currently employ 54,000 workers worldwide. We have acquired many companies over the years, such as Ducat, the leader in Croatian fresh products, Galbani, the cheese market leader in Italy, which made Lactalis the world's second largest cheese company, and namely our 2011 acquisition of 83.3% of Parmalat, the Italian dairy leader, which allowed Lactalis to become #1 on the worldwide dairy market. Parmalat was based in countries where Lactalis had little activity. This external growth will lead to massive developmental opportunities and also a stronger focus on what Lactalis can do to improve our sustainable business practice in regards to palm oil. According to the 2011 WWF Palm Oil User Scorecard, we currently use 10,000 to 50,000 tonnes of palm oil, of which only 25 to 50% is certified sustainable palm oil.
Okay, so with all that in mind, we move on to the RSPO, the Roundtable of Sustainable Palm Oil. Now, this is an organisation set up by many different companies, so like Sainsbury's and Unilever, together with the WWF, to create something where people agree to legislation so that they can too use sustainable palm oil and reap the benefits. So some of the people at the top of the table, we've got Mars, we've got Avon, and we've got Dairy Crest, who we'll discuss later, but there's something missing. So we want to add Lactalis into this RSPO leaders. There are many, many benefits, as you can see by this slide. So when this grows bigger, we can have networking opportunities. So we can talk to these huge, huge companies. So it could be just a chat, or it could be a very big business deal. We can have access to more markets within the EU. So we're actually making our supply bigger, so we can reach for many, many more markets. We can also communicate better with smaller smallholders, so that we can communicate exactly what we're getting from the product. As it's RSPO, it's also going to be better quality, which is something we can play on our marketing and promotion.
In order to gain some practical knowledge and comparisons, we have selected another dairy producing company called Dairy Crest. This uses palm oil in its production process also. Dairy Crest is a UK-based company that employs over 8,000 workers in England and Wales alone. Recent recordings show that it turned over 1,362 million in 2012 alone. However, it also managed to score a 7 on the WWF scorecard for sustainability of palm oil. We are going to take a look at some of the processes and actions that Dairy Crest have in place to see why they have such a considerably high mark on the scorecard. Dairy Crest have a large amount of internal and external factors that play a part in the sustainable performance in palm oil. The first process uses a bottom-up management strategy, meaning that sustainability is promoted through the employees rather than dictated by management, much like the garden model. Each month, a magazine is released on the company's sustainable management progress. The CEO of Dairycrest, Mark Adden, introduced the scheme. The magazine helps to promote sustainable practice through employees and helping to create a clean, green company with a sustainable culture. Secondly, Dairycrest only sources palm oil from RSPO certified manufacturers. This is a very simple method, but it's very effective. In 2008, they became members of the Margarine and Spreads Association. The association is used as an advisor for companies looking to become more sustainable. It gives advice on companies' processes and all kinds of practice that promote sustainability. This allows Dairycrest to make the best decisions to promote sustainability. These are just a few of their main sustainable practices and management methods that Dairycrest use. We feel we can take a leaf out of their book by pursuing good tactics like that of Dairycrest.
Okay, so now I'll talk about what we currently do in terms of sustainability. At the moment, we have a very dynamic and very working relationship with our milk producers, something which will guarantee long-term understanding with our suppliers. We've also been able to minimise the amount of packaging that we use. This has led to savings of 60 tonnes of cardboard and 80 tonnes of plastic film, and as a result, we've been able to reduce our impact on the environment. Finally, we've managed to reduce our wastage in rural areas, with 7 of our sites being certified as conforming to ISO regulations. So we're sustainable in many areas already, but we must now continue this trend with our usage of palm oil. On the 2011 WWF Palm Oil Users Scorecard, we were one of the least responsible users of palm oil and scored 1.5 out of 9. On the other hand, Dairycrest scored 7. With our size and influence in the dairy market after our acquisition of Parmalee, we will strive to be a more responsible member of the RSPO. We've already made the first step in the right direction by gaining RSPO certification. However, this is not enough. We must use our current knowledge of sustainable practices and apply it to how we use palm oil. And here we've come up with a few suggestions as to how we can become more responsible with our palm oil. Like Dairycrest, we should try to only source from certified sustainable palm oil producers. And we've targeted at sourcing between 75 and 100% of certified palm oil for next year. Another idea is to create a more sustainable and environmentally conscious culture within Lactalis, so that all employees are fully aware of our intentions and will work towards a common goal. Finally, we must try to set up stronger links with our smallholders, working with them to certify their palm oil plantations whilst also giving them better opportunities and better working conditions. So, if a company like Dairycrest, which has a turnover of £1.3 billion, is sustainable with its palm oil, a company of our size with a turnover of £13 billion should be able to improve its ranking in the table, provided we dedicate the time and money into the suggestions that we recommend.
Thank you, John. So what other recommendation can we make for a sustainable future of that? We are going to use the theory of CSR, which means corporate social responsibility. This is the idea that companies should have a greater responsibility in order to make positive impacts. This can be through environments, consumers, employees, local community as well. And this long-term sustainable goal is defined by Galbraith as creating value for current and future stakeholders by ensuring that economic growth is achieved through environmental integrity and responsiveness. But how do we apply it? First, we need greater transparency. This is needed in our use, in our production, in our sourcing of palm oil. We can aim at a greater transparency by communicating a lot more. Using mass advertising, we can aim at sharing our views with many more people and therefore having a much greater impact. As you can see, we can implement some logos on our products. You can see the RSPO logos on both these products, which are the major products in our company. As well as providing new logos in order to share our values better with our consumers. We can also give more information in our websites. And this will lead to more beneficial outcomes. First, we can have a better loyalty from consumers that can recognize themselves in our products and can share with us the same values. By doing this, we will have a stronger image on the market, which will allow us to be more settled. Also, we can have strong partnerships with our producers, and this will lead to an optimistic view for the future and a long-term shareholder value. All of that combined can lead to great profits and, as I said, a better long-term shareholder value. Ben will now conclude this presentation and make some further recommendations.
So that's it. As we've seen, there are a wealth of benefits with moving into the RSPO and becoming more sustainable with palm oil. So if we become more transparent, then we know that people will listen to us more. If people trust something they're investing money into, then it's much easier for them to gain confidence, which means more people will invest, and this can create a circle for economy. So also we can put our logos on products. We put those logos on just to demonstrate how much clearer we have to be before we can actually get anywhere by advertising to the public, advertising to the mass market. It's also easy for us to join the RSPO. We want to be with those big companies so we can get these huge networking opportunities, but also it's creating a better perception to the public. We could also easily, to conclude, communicate with our smallholders, which means that we know exactly the type of product we are getting. I think all of these things will produce a very, very beneficial circle for Lactalis, and it means that we can truly be more sustainable. But the real question we want to ask you, directors, is if Dairy Crest, a company that is much smaller than us, with a much smaller turnover, can be right up in the rankings, then why can't we? So thank you very much, and we'll take any questions.